So welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going through how to start a social media marketing agency in 2021. Most people who are starting out right now are finding it harder than ever to sign clients and truly scale their agency to 10, 20, 30, 50,000, $100,000 per month. Why is that? Well, it's because more people than ever are now jumping into the social media marketing agency world, thus increasing supply, but the demand is decreasing because now the same amount of businesses are pretty much evident, but there's more people reaching out to those businesses. So the demand is going down, but the supply is going up. So people are struggling to start and scale their agencies. But in this video, I want to provide the antidote to that struggle so that you can truly start and scale your agency in 2021/2022. So with that being said, let's jump into it. I'm basically going to give you an 8-step formula to starting and scaling your agency from complete beginner, kind of have no idea what an agency is, all the way through to being able to scale your agency to 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 per month. So let's start with step 1. The first step to building your agency is to identify a market that has a struggle. What is a market? Well, a market is essentially a niche. Maybe asking, what's a niche? Well, again, a niche is a group of businesses. It's an industry, right? So for example, a niche could be real estate agents, a niche could be e-commerce, a niche could be gyms, a niche could be agency owners, right? A niche is just a group of people who run the same business. Now, you want to be able to identify one of these industries, niches, markets, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. You want to be able to identify one of these industries and figure out what problem it is that they are having. Now, one of the biggest reasons as to why so many people are saying that the agency space is saturated now is because of this specific idea right here, which is everybody is trying to go after the same industries and they're trying to offer each and every person in that same industry the same service. So now the prospects in that industry, right, are all being hit up every single day, multiple times a day by different agencies offering the same thing. That's the reason people are saying that agency space is saturated, but it's not. It's just because everybody's offering the same thing. And so what your job should be when starting out is finding an industry. It could be the same industries as what you hear, right? Real estate agents, e-commerce and whatever, but you want to try and find a unique issue that that industry has and solve it with a unique mechanism. That unique mechanism would be what you're offering, your service offering. And we're going to get onto that here in a couple of the later steps. But for now, you need to figure out an industry that has an issue that either number one is a unique issue that nobody's speaking to, or number two, it's an issue that nobody's able to fix. And so if you're actually able to come up with a service, again, we're going to go into that into the later steps here, but if you're able to come up with a service that's actually able to fix that specific issue that they're having, you will not have any issue signing clients. It's as simple as that, right? A lot of the times people get hung up on the wrong ideas when they try to start out their agency, right? They think about, oh, how can I sign clients? Oh, what's the best way to do this? What's the best way to do that? And it's like, well, you're focusing on the wrong things, right? Because you could sign clients, but if you can't deliver results, you're not going to be able to grow your agency. You're just not, right? It's as simple as that. And also the way in which it becomes easier to sign clients is to solve a bigger issue in a quicker time frame for that specific industry. And so what a really big issue is that I see right now in the space is everybody has the same deliverable. Most of the time, this deliverable is going to be Facebook ads. And so let's call this service offering here X, right? So everybody offers X, and then they go to these different industries, right? Let's say each one of these circles that are terribly drawn circles, let's say all of these are different niches, right? And what people fail to realize is that each one of these industries has a different problem. So let's say each number represents a different problem, right? However, what most agency owners do is they try and fit this X solution into every single problem. And oftentimes, not every industry is actually going to benefit from just run Facebook ads. And so that's where most agency owners oftentimes fail, is they try and, provide a triangular solution to a circular problem, right? They try and provide a triangular solution to a circular problem, and it just doesn't fit. And then they're scratching their heads as to why they're sending out hundreds of emails a day and nobody's responding, right? Or maybe somebody does respond and they do sign a client, but then they're not able to deliver results. Then they're not able to actually fix the client's true problem, which is what they originally paid them for. And so that's why I always say step one to starting your agency is to identify one of these industries, whatever industry you want to go after, right? You want to identify an industry and figure out what this specific industry's true problem is, right? That's step one. And once you've found what its true problem is, and so now we move on to step two, which is collating all of the services which can be a solution to that identified problem, which you figured out in step one. People's problems can differ. One industry's biggest issue may be the fact that they can't scale. Okay, and so if they can't scale, then their issue is converting cold prospects into a lead or into a purchase or into a booked call or whatever the respective industries are optimizing for, right? That may be their biggest problem. They can't scale. Okay, cool. The issue at play here is the fact that they can't convert that top of funnel traffic, right? Cold prospects into buyers. Maybe you then would look at a funnel build offer, right? Because the part of converting top of funnel traffic is the funnel in which you send that traffic through. That funnel acts as a conversion mechanism. Maybe everybody's funnel in that industry is just physically broken, and every time somebody goes into it, nobody comes out the bottom of it because there's a break in it. Offer a funnel build service, right? Maybe, in real estate, for example, I'm not in the real estate niche. This is the research that you would have to do. But maybe in real estate, a lot of real estate agents are getting a bunch of leads, but maybe none of them are qualified. Okay, cool. Now we need to look at, okay, how are you getting these leads? And what is the pre-frame that process is providing those leads with? That seems as though that could be the issue. Cool, let's provide a service around that. We'll get you higher qualified leads, right? Whatever it is. And so what step two refers to is listing out, for example, using that last one that I just mentioned about qualified leads. Step two is listing out all of the ways that you can help a real estate agent increase their qualified leads. Maybe you could run better Facebook ads. That's one service. Maybe another way is to build a funnel for them. That's another service or another offer, right? Maybe another way is to do Google ads, right? Or whatever it is. Step two, as I say, is to list out however many services. I want you to just list out every single way that you can provide a solution to that issue. What step three is to identify 1 to 3 of the solutions that you listed out, right? And obviously this is going to be based on the idea of what you can actually physically deliver on, right? For example, a solution to somebody's problem may be to bring them in-house, bring them to your office, quote unquote, and like train them up in person. But maybe that's just not a physical thing that you can actually do right now, because maybe you're like me. When I started out in the agency space, I was 16 years old, 17 years old. I wasn't gonna fly out to somebody's business or fly them into me and train them up, right? So it's just not logistically gonna happen. But what you wanna do now is you wanna identify 1 to 3 of the services that you wrote, right, to offer to clients, okay? And then step 4 is to now be able to further refine these 1 to 3 that you listed down to one service, right, that provides the best results in the most efficient way possible. What I mean by that is you could technically call every single real estate lead that you generate for the client and pre-qualify them yourself. That would probably provide results. And results is always in comparison to the desired outcome. Have you fulfilled the desired outcome? Yes. Okay, cool, I've provided results, right? So that would provide results. That would fulfill that desired outcome for that specific real estate business in this example of wanting higher qualified leads. However, it's not a very efficient way for you to go about delivering a service, right? There's only so many phone calls that you can make in a day. It's not very efficient. So you need to identify the best performing service from a result standpoint, but also from a efficiency standpoint as well. And so how are you gonna do that? Well, the best way to do it is by acquiring 1 to 3 clients, right? And then offering those 1 to 3 clients the 1 to 3 services that you originally picked. And then you'll be able to see in real life. And then you'll be able to see in a real life situation, okay, what's providing the best results and which one am I able to deliver in the most efficient way? Now, step 5 is to take this highlighted service, right, which you found produces the best results in the most efficient way. You want to take this service, right? And now what you want to do is basically build an irresistible offer around that service. And so the reason that we want to do this is so that when your ideal client, which you identified in step 1, right? When your ideal client sees this offer, you want them to, off their own back, this is the true key to scaling your agency, off their own back, you want them to want you. If you're able to have such a powerful offer surrounding your agency, right, that it makes your ideal client want to come to you before you even reach out to them, when you end up moving on to the next step here, which is to build a client acquisition machine, your numbers are going to be through the roof and you're going to have no issue signing clients. Because as soon as the client sees your offer, as soon as the client sees your message, your ad, your DM, your piece of content on social, right, whatever it may be, as soon as they see it, they're going to instantly bite your hand off because it resonates with them so much and it solves a true issue that they are actually experiencing, which you identified. You figured out specifically what this industry is actually struggling with. And then by virtue of step 3 and 4, you have figured out a way to actually provide a solution to that issue. Now, when you put that in front of them and you're able to back up your claims with results, which you collated by virtue of step 2 and 3, right? I should say step 3 and 4. Well, not only are you halfway to building an irresistible offer, right? Because the biggest thing about your offer is the deliverable, like the outcome, right? And the results that you have to back it up, right? And also with the offer, you can also obviously mention claims, and your claims should always be based on the results that you actually generate. So if the results you actually generate clients is like genuinely taking these businesses and injecting them into their desired outcome, well, you can make a pretty powerful offer. Well, it's pretty easy at that point to make a pretty powerful offer, right? And so from there, step 6, okay, is to build a client acquisition machine so that you have clients just flooding towards you, right? You have clients just coming in and you have a filled pipeline. This is the true key to being able to scale your agency, when you have clients coming to you and wanting to work with you, right? Because as I say, if you have a really powerful offer, you have a really, really good service that actually works, well, first of all, you're gonna have a very, very powerful client acquisition flow from your current clients, right? By virtue of referrals. And that's only gonna happen if you actually have a good service that provides a solution to a real problem, right? Your current clients are gonna send you more clients. So that's gonna be a great client acquisition machine, just that in and of itself. But then also at that point, when you go to, as I say, to emails, right? You go to Facebook ads, you go to Instagram ads, social, your organic platforms as well. You want to be building a client acquisition machine on those platforms, but it's only going to work if these above factors are in place. One of the most common questions that I get asked is, hi, my emails aren't working, or I'm not able to sign clients or whatever. Can you like look at my email and see what's going on, or look at my message and see what's going on? And I look at it and they're like, what should I say in the first line and the second line, and what should my CTA be? I'm like, that is so not the problem. It's not even funny. What the problem is that you're offering the same thing to the same person and you're presenting it in the same way. That's the issue. It's not what you've got in your first email line or the first line in the second email. And so by virtue of you going through these steps I've just laid out here, you are naturally going to be able to build a much more effective client acquisition machine when you get to step 6, because you have an offer that people want and you also are fixing a genuine issue that industry or niche is actually facing. And by virtue of step 3 and 4, you're actually able to deliver a great result. You're not just selling a pipe dream and then delivering something that like just doesn't work, right? Because that's never gonna work. Then step 7, right? I'm gonna recap all the steps here in a minute as well, so if you feel a little bit lost, don't worry. Step 7 though, is building a team. Now the reason, right, that I've been able to see 250K months in my business is because of this one word right here, which is team. I wouldn't be able to run my agency like we do without my team. I wouldn't be able to run any of the businesses like I do without my team. Team is the most important thing to scale, in my opinion, right? Because you're gonna hit a physical hard cap in your business if you don't have a strong team in place. But the reason team is number 7 on this list is because this comes second, right? You need to, there's no point building a team around a terrible business, because at that point, it's still not gonna work even though you have an amazing team in place, right? So you need to go through the initial steps first. Plus, if you're just starting out, you don't need to be worrying or thinking about bringing on a team member, bringing on a CMO, bringing on this, bringing on that, right? That doesn't matter for now, right? You need to get these earlier steps locked in. And once you've got those earlier steps locked in, then you want to build a team around that proven business that you've already built, right? And the biggest thing that you want to build a strong team around is the delivery of your service. That's usually in the agency space. Obviously, it's a service-based business, right? An agency is a service-based business. And so a service-based business is oftentimes And so a service-based business, there's physical time attached to the delivery of that service. If you've got a product of some sort, yes, there's physical time attached on the front end of building the product, but once the product's created, you can sell that out pretty quickly, and there's not that much time attached to you selling that out, right? Whereas an agency, there's a service attached, so it's a monthly recurring service, and so there's time attached to the deliverable, right? And so the first thing that you want to hire for, the first thing that you want to build a team around is the delivery of your service, and then from there you can branch out into the client acquisition side, the sales side, etc., right? But step number 7 is to build a strong team around your proven business already. And then step 8 is to simply scale, because by this point you've got everything in place, right? That should say scale, it doesn't, but whatever. You can simply scale because you've got everything in place. You got a great offer, right? You've got an identified market who has an issue, found a way to remedy the issue, right? You found a really good solution to this main issue that this market is facing. You can produce results, right? You've crafted and you've built an irresistible offer. Now, this irresistible offer is never like a one-time thing. It's always changing, right? This irresistible offer section, it's not like it's always gonna be a one-time thing. You create one offer and that's it forever. You can always refine it. But the biggest thing is that you found an industry, you found a niche that has a huge problem, and you've been able to remedy that problem, and you've been able to build an offer around that specific industry, right? And then you've been able to build an offer around what that specific industry truly wants, right? And then from there, you've built a strong team around the delivery, around the operation side of your agency. And so as I say, you're in a prime position to scale. That's it. That's how you start and you scale an agency in this new age of agency owners. And it's also how you become successful in building your agency, right? You would have seen in this video, I didn't mention the fact that you should run Facebook ads for real estate agents or run Facebook ads for e-commerce, right? Because if you start your agency and that's all you do, unfortunately, you will very much struggle signing clients. And that's also one of the biggest reasons as to why I just launched the Platinum Agency Program, which is a program that helps you sign your first or your next 1 to 3 social media marketing agency clients, right, in the next 30 days by virtue of taking what we've gone through in this video, but really taking it to the next level, right? Drilling down deeply into each and every point of this to enable you to actually, find a market, right? Help you actually figure out what service is going to be best, figure out actually how to deliver results for clients, right? Actually how to sell clients on your service, right? Because it's one thing to get booked calls, it's another thing to actually then get that booked call to pay you X amount per month, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 per month, right? As I say, that's literally the reason why I created the Platinum Agency Program. And this video here was basically like a bit of a insight into what the Platinum Agency Program covers. And again, the reason I brought it out was because the old way of running an agency that everybody else talks about, that everybody else is so familiar with, it just doesn't work anymore. And so the Platinum Agency Program is pretty much the antidote to the old way of running an agency. And it's basically the antidote to the struggles that you're facing right now in your agency, or the struggles that you're going to encounter if you're just starting out, if you're a complete beginner. So if you're interested in joining the Platinum Agency Program, look, I will be honest, for the first access members, it's very newly launched. So for first access members, they're able to enroll for $97, right? It's not a $1,000 program. It's not a $5,000 program. It should be, right? It should be at full price. I will actually be charging $497, so $500 for it. But for first access members, you guys can get in for $97. I laugh when I say that because it's so ridiculously cheap. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead, click the first link in the description. It'll show you a little bit more information about the program, etc., and why it works so well. But look, I didn't make this video specifically to talk about the Platinum Agency Program. I made it to show you what is necessary and what is needed now in 2021/2022 in order to start and scale your SMMA, your social media marketing agency. I deeply hope this brought some useful and valuable insight to you. If it did, as always, go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.